Farming Forecaster is one of many drought tools. Everybody can use this tool across Tasmania, farmers and advisors. We feel it's a really powerful way of helping farming communities manage through drought and prepare earlier. We work with the Tasmanian Institute of Agriculture to look at how producers are using this information, but also what they wanted to see from a drought tool. The social research is a really valuable component of the tool. Not only does it give us insights into what producers' motivations are, how they value the tool, and how we might be able to improve things in the future, we wanted to understand from a producer's point of view the perceived value of the Farming Forecaster pasture forecast, particularly, how that relates to managing ground cover and other drought decisions. We wanted to understand how crucial that information would be for making decisions. We also wanted to understand the broader changes that might be occurring in the livestock industry in Tasmania using this tool. Another aspect of the social research was understanding the value of the actual workshop training program. In terms of getting people to take on new technologies, for those who are a little bit hesitant to do that, this training framework that we've provided through the project is really valuable to help people take that step. The social research is helping us understand how producers have valued that extension. Do they want to see other things communicated in another way? How can we improve that in the future? It's been extremely rewarding. We've set up all these sites across Tasmania. We're engaging communities that we haven't engaged with before. We've received really positive response from every region that we've had Farming Forecaster in. So we know that people are valuing the tool.
My name's John McKenzie. I'm 6th generation here at Speyside. We're running 6,500 merino sheep and about 200 breeding cattle. I've been home 2 years now and we're coming off the back of 3 unbelievable seasons. This year we had things looking a bit dicey early spring and we made a few management decisions then to sell early, which the Farming Forecaster helped with. We look at the Farming Forecaster more often than we look at our own charts and tables because the trend's always the same. It might be a bit earlier or later, but the trend's the same and that's the key factor to us. If we're looking to manage ground cover, if it's looking bad, it helps us to make decisions when to go into a use of a sacrifice paddock if we need to. There are multiple ways in which the tool can be used. An example of the way we've used it recently is coming into spring this year, things were looking a bit dicey and there was a lot of noise. If we looked at on farm and looked on Farming Forecast, we could say, well, things could turn pear-shaped, but we know we've got enough feed to get through lambing and we can destock and sell some dry sheep if things start to turn earlier. And it helped us sleep at night basically because we knew we had feed to get through lambing, we weren't going to have any issues, and if things turned south then we could make management decisions based on that. I actually think the most powerful thing is being able to look at other regions. So we can look at New South Wales and see what the season's doing there and whether they've got lots of feed or don't, which can give us an indication of what markets might be doing, whether people will be destocking or looking to hold stock. So that actually helps us there with making our own management decisions as whether we can afford to hold our stock to back yourself and back your confidence. So that if you are unsure about something, you can look at Farming Forecasters and say, well, no, that's saying what I already know, so I'm on the right track, so I should proceed with my decision-making plan.
For my line of work, having accurate information that's very timely really helps us. I work essentially to grow feed for livestock, assist with crops, the programs around running livestock and overall management of those production systems. I think particularly now we're dealing with a lot of variability in markets, in the environment, in how we have to go about planning, is being ready for change in the production systems for whichever way it comes to us. Being able to get access to real-time information spread over a relatively broad geographical area is fantastic. I work throughout Tasmania and when I go and visit a client, we want information that's relative to that specific area. So the soil moisture information is fantastic, the pasture growth rate information is fantastic, and essentially it's real time and we can access it remotely.
Early on there was lots of workshops, which is great, especially for us being part of the pilot, and then moving forward there was regular workshops in localised regions. That still happens to an extent, but it's moved to more of a basis on Zoom, which is fantastic because it allows flexibility. There's a few people in the valley that I think look at it pretty regularly that don't have a probe themselves just to get an idea of what's trending. I think it's really important. I think the big thing is ease of use because there is a lot of technology out there that can be quite expensive, and the big thing is being simple and easy to use and affordable, which Farming Forecaster is. My dad helped set that up. He saw the opportunity there to become part of it. Very grateful he did because it's a fantastic tool that aids with your management and gives a lot of confidence in what you're doing and seeing what's going to happen, and backs up what you're seeing on the farm to what you're looking forward. So it's been a really good project to be part of.
I'm Melissa Ferguson. I farm with my husband and my kids at Grindstone Bay at Tribunna on the east coast of Tasmania. The east coast of Tasmania is really variable and we get hit pretty hard. It's a fine balance to try and find tools that actually do help people when it's dry. The Farming Forecaster is a practical tool that we can use every day of the year, any year. And it's really hard for governments to help people in dry times and out of dry times. It's just really hard to find projects that make a difference. And this one actually does make a difference.
So it's really good to be the first 4 probes, they put in the state. Part of the funding was to put a rain gauge and a moisture probe in, so they're recording what rain's falling and what's happening in the soil. The information's so well presented that it's a quick 10-15 second on each probe, and you can get a really good overview of what's going on at each site. I'll probably look at it once every 2 or 3 weeks. A lot of the time it's reinforcing what you're already seeing in the paddock, but then it throws it ahead and say, if you only get your average rainfall from here on in, it's not going to trend well, or you're actually going to be fine. It's something that doesn't tell you what you should be doing. It gives you just another piece of information, gives you confidence in making better decisions. I love looking around the state at everyone else's probes as well and seeing how all the other areas are tracking and what rainfall they're getting, what's happening, where their trend is for how much pasture they've got. I start to think, well, I wonder if it's trending dry everywhere else, everyone else might be selling sheep, so we should be selling now before then, or if it's trending dry, should we be buying cattle or be ready to buy cattle based in, if it doesn't rain, there could be a lot of cheap cattle around in 6-8 weeks' time. The key for this one is the actual cost. It's actually really relatively cheap compared to a lot of other technology. It's very accurate, which is good.
It's been very much a practical tool for people who are at the coalface of dealing with rainfall variability. It just makes sense to fund it because it's a practical, widespread tool. So the more tools you've got, the more knowledge you've got, the more support you've got, the better. So all those things help you feel a bit more in control.